floors, walls, halls, white sidewall tires, and old golf balls.
Sinks, stoves, bathtubs, he'll do. He'll even help clean laundry too.
Mr. Clean
I
gets
do do
rid of
laundry.
dirt and
I
grime
do
and
too.
grease in just a minute.
Mr. Clean will clean your whole house and everything that's in it.
Can he clean a kitchen sink?
Quicker than a wink.
You have just unlocked the door to the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension, a dimension of sound and of sight. You are moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of offense and defense. You have just crossed over into the Irish Bill Sports Zone.
Welcome to week 2 of the Irish Bills Buffalo Wild Wings Coaches Show. No, that's not Seminole Bob. That is BC Paul.
Or Mr. Clean.
Boston College, what a game they had.
Yes, they did.
Basically controlled that game from the
They
onset.
did. In fact, I talked to Coach Lee Jones tonight, who's a Florida State fan, and he said after the first series he knew they were going to lose that game.
Yeah,
BC
they
just looked good.
DJ, I just don't know if he's ready for the big stage. He was all hyped up coming out of high school.
Not ready for
and
prime
it
time.
just kind of his accuracy is terrible.
I know
But luckily they're playing in the ACC, which is down a little bit this year. But that's not what we're here to talk about. It is the coaches show. We're going to have Coach Bagley on hopefully in a little while. We got quite a few players. Tell them who on the defensive line we're going to have.
So tonight we have the defensive line for the Navarre Raiders. So we've got sophomore Bryce Wheeler, who's here. We've got senior Will Payton is here, and EZ Gasca, who's the defensive coach.
That's 2 weeks in a row for
2 weeks in a
EZ.
row for EZ as defensive captain. And the fourth one we have is
Will Payton.
Braxton Barr.
Braxton
Barr or Will,
Okay.
and Will Payton.
Yeah, we'll have 4 again tonight. And I went back and watched it. That was a pretty good show last week. The young men are very impressed with the way that they handle themselves.
They are. We've who did we have last week? We had the captains. So we had EZ Gasca last week. We had Roman Marshall. We had Vinny
And Jacob Walsh.
And Jacob Walsh. Yep, they did a good job. And
Yeah. Jacob, the only returning starter from last year's offense.
yeah, and that can a good segue to the game, right? So the only returning starter for the offense, and so the offense has struggled. Obviously, we haven't scored any points. It's been tough. Defense has held their own, but been put into some positions where it's been tough to battle back from, and so.
That's only the second time that the Raiders have been shut out in back-to-back seasons. We have to go all the way back to 2008, Fort Walton Beach, and in the middle of the season, and Choctaw did it to us. Those games were 33-0, same as Catholic game, but that game Choctaw took us out 55-0 the next week.
So the first time that we've been shut out 2 weeks in a row?
This is the second time here in 2024.
Got it.
So 2008 and 2024. So that means at this point we're not going to see it again until 2040.
Well, you think about it too. I know a lot of attention and a lot of noise has been made about the offense, and the fact that we're a different team than we were last year. But think about the two opponents we played. Choctaw is in the top 25 in the state.
No, they are. Yes, what an impressive team, especially. Everybody looks at their offense, but their defense is incredible, and they're very athletic and very quick.
And they played without 5 starters last week against us. And then the week before Catholic, they went to the Class 2S final last year.
State semifinals last year against Bradford.
And they've got everybody back. So, we didn't lose to slouches. We played tough.
Well, what I saw last week out of Choctaw is a lot of their athletes are sophomores and juniors. So this Choctaw team's going to be good for a few years to come. Frank Beasley's doing a great job over there at Choctaw. But Garrett Bagley looking for his first win still. I look at small victories. The play was better on the field, especially on offense. The defense continues to everybody sees that we gave up 35, but they don't see the picture of them getting the ball in the short field the majority of the time.
Correct. That happened a number of times. It happened in the Catholic game as well. you mentioned the offense made some progress. We ran the ball well. Andre Spence ran for 92 yards.
I love watching that. Yeah, he reminds me. He's not the same build as Johnny Robinson, but they both run angry. And I love running backs that run angry.
Yep, and Andre did a good job. And once we got the offense moving, we just couldn't get it in the end zone. And I think hopefully next week against Mosley that changes, and then the week after that against Milton.
Roman gets our first completed passes of the season. He went 4 for 8 last week. Actually, Vinny went 0 for 1 through his little pass. He kind of showed his linebacker throwing skills.
Well, there. It's funny. If you look back at that play, it was still a 0-0 game, and the receiver was wide open, and I think his eyes got big, and he can actually throw the ball. He can. I saw it in practice. I saw it. He pitched for several years, but he just slipped. The ball slipped out of his hands, and he underthrew it. But he's 0 for 1 in his career, and that may be his passing career.
Andre ended up with 92 yards on 19 carries. Had a good night there, running behind the 6-man offensive line. I have not seen that in quite a while. You'll see it with maybe with the tight end or an H-back in there, but he went with a 6-man offensive line.
And I will throw a shout-out and hope he's doing better. We'll send our prayers. Jakari Thomas, who was that 6-man, had emergency gallbladder surgery yesterday, and everything was successful, so I guess I can say that on the air. He's going to be back when he gets back. But he did a great job up front last week, and we send our thoughts, wishes, and prayers.
Most definitely. I got to talk with him at the pep rally the week before when we were getting ready to start the season, and nice young man. I believe he moved in from Michigan.
He did. He moved in from Michigan. Good kid, and we wish
big
him well. So
kid.
Big kid, for sure. For sure.
But I think he's about 6'3", 6'4", pushing over 3 bills. And not one of these bills, 3 of me, but 3 bills.
Yeah, he's over. I think he's got in good shape. But, for a guy that big, he moves really well, and he's good in his feet. So
we'll get Josh Wilson back.
Yes, Josh
next week. Unfortunately, we will lose Zeke Burgess for a few weeks. Got injured in the game last week.
He has a grade 3 AC tear in his shoulder, and so he'll be out for 4 to 6 weeks.
And now we're missing Keegan Gilbert as well. I think he's going to be out for a couple of weeks.
More weeks. He's having non-contact practices right now, so he'll be back hopefully in a couple of weeks.
Well, we are off this Friday night. This is our open week for Navarre. We won't be back on the field of play until next Thursday over in Panama City, Mosley. And we'll go back a couple of years. One of the most exciting games of the year over there at Mosley when Taylor Gardner hits a game-winning field goal at the end for a 38-35 come-from-behind victory. So this open week, it's a good time for the open week.
It is, and I think Coach Bagley will talk about that he's really focusing on the team. The team's focusing on themselves this week, no opponent, so get better at what we need to get better at and go from there.
Most definitely, and still looking to utilize our kickers here.
Yeah.
So we'll get there, and hopefully we can get the offense rolling over at Mosley. Then in a couple weeks, a week after that, we'll be at home for homecoming against Milton.
On the 20th.
Yep. And then the following week, we'll be going to Tate for another Thursday night game.
First district game.
And Tate, they're looking strong early on.
2-0, and they're looking really good. Good quarterback. They got Christian Neptune. They've got that.
One of the best receivers in the area.
And I forget his name. Tyler, big kid on the O-line, is like 6'6", 350.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a really big kid. I saw him at the photo shoot a few weeks ago, and big. Anyway,
most definitely. And let's go over to our high school picks. We're gonna take a stab at it after Joe just dominated us last week. The pick wizard, Deborah Broxson, calls you Paul the Predictor.
I like it, Deborah. Thank you.
Well, she tunes in for every one of my broadcasts. Our high school games, we got a Thursday night game 1, St. John Paul II at Lincoln. We're all going with the Trojans after their impressive win at Boot Hill, Madison County last Friday night. Crestview going to Choctaw. Both teams 2-0.
Yeah, I took Choctaw. I think we all did, right?
Yeah, everybody took Choctaw. Pine Forest at Niceville. Pine Forest is going to add a new wrinkle to their offense tomorrow. Nick Simmons will be the starting quarterback tomorrow for Pine Forest as they've been having a little struggles moving the ball. My son is one of the assistant coaches out there at Pine Forest. He coaches the kickers and punters, but they got their hands full at Niceville. We're all going, I can't say the Eagles because they're both Eagles, but we're going with Niceville in that one, all four of us. Fort Walton Beach at West Florida. We won a tight one against Washington last week. Fort Walton Beach having trouble putting points on the board as well. We're all going with West Florida. Tate, Pensacola, enough said there.
Yep.
All with Tate. Booker T. Washington at Milton. We're split down the middle here. You and Joe are taking Booker T. Washington, and Bob and I are going with the home team Milton in this one. Next we got Rickards at Mosley. This is another battle of 2-0 teams. Mosley averaging 53 points a game in both of their games. Yes, they're against Bay County schools, so this is probably going to be their first test of the year.
Yep.
We're all going with Mosley in that one. There's another split one. You got number one in the rule classification, Hawthorne going to Florida High. Hawthorne 1-1, Florida High 0-2.
Yep.
Their schedule is one of the toughest in the Panhandle and Big Bend region. You and Joe are going with Hawthorne, and Bob and I are going with Florida High. Wakulla, a surprise loser to Taylor County last week, 27-20. Bob's going with Wakulla, and all three of us are going with Childs after their impressive win last week. Godby at Gaston County. Gaston County travels up to Nashville, Tennessee last week and takes on a very talented McCallie team and pulls off the victory. So you, Paul, and Joe are taking Gadsden County. I struggle with this one. I was leaning toward Gadsden County, but I'm going to go with Godby on the road. Okay. So is Bob.
All right.
Gainesville at Leon, all going with the Purple Hurricanes. Did you know that?
No,
they're the Purple Hurricanes. A few years ago when they came in and played us in the semi-state, one of their coaches, I was in the booth talking with him before the game, and he's just don't call us Hurricanes. There's a reason. They're out of Gainesville, so Hurricanes.
I get it. It's Miami.
You just can't.
Can't do it.
Well, they did it to them last weekend.
Yes, they did.
But we're all going with Gainesville in that one. Arnold at Bozeman, even though Arnold put up 47 points last week, we're all going with Bozeman at home. Walton at Holmes County. This one split. You and Joe are taking Holmes County, the home team. Bob and I are taking Walton. We got McClay at Mariana. Mariana's looking solid. Everybody going with them at home. Madison County at Sewanee. Paul going with the upset in this one is with Sewanee.
I think it was one of those ones where I went with the home team.
That is the alma mater of Tammy Peanut Norton.
Yes, it is.
And that was also Coach Jay Wall's first high school job.
Yep.
Bob, Joe, and I are going with Madison County. Paul going with Sewanee.
That's where the way I look at that is that's where I pick up a game.
Good opportunity there. Jay at Lighthouse. Jay's playing really strong. We're all going with the Royals on the road. Sorry, Coach Everett. Northview at Freeport. Chiefs will win the big in that one. Central at Baker. It's going to be a little tough to go for Central early on,
year, yep.
Especially playing at Baker.
History, yep.
All of us going with the Gators at home. North Bay Haven at Bay. Bob going with North Bay Haven. The rest of us going with Bay. Rutherford at Chipley. All going with the Tigers at home. FAMU at Franklin County. Everybody going with the Seahawks at home. Port St. Joe at Liberty County. Another upset for Paul. My good friend Coach Gerald Tranquil is the head coach over at Liberty County. Port St. Joe is going to be taken by myself, Bob, and Joe. Taylor County at Dixon County playing all too well right now, so all of us going with Taylor County in that one. Vernon at Weewa. Always love saying Weewa. And actually, Joe is going with the upset, the Vernon.
And everybody else is going. We're all going with.
We're all going with Weewa. And our Saturday game, and this is our second Saturday game, Jefferson County comes over to Niceville to take on Rocky Bayou. And Paul is taking the home Bayou. Yep. I was going back and forth this one because Rocky Bayou got beat 28-0 by Lighthouse in week 1. And Jefferson County beat Lighthouse last week 23-22. So I was going back and forth with. I ended up going with Jefferson County.
I went home team on that one.
So there's our picks.
All right.
And we're going to go over college picks after we do some interviews. And we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break of the night. You are watching the Buffalo Wild Wings Coaches Show from Buffalo Wild Wings in Navarre. We got Mr. Clean over here to my right. It's Irish Bill, and we'll be back after this commercial break.
To everyone who loves Culver's, the feeling is mutual. I'm Nicole from Culver's of Cross Plains, Wisconsin. And when I'm serving you a Butterburger, I'm just as happy as you are. I almost get giddy when I hear the sizzle of our fresh beef on the grill. Seeing that smile that comes from a meal made just right, some call it magic, but I like to call it love at first bite. Stop in for a cook-to-order Butterburger and let us make Culver's your happy place.
From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Navarre Fitness is where old school meets new. Whether you're into free weights or the latest and greatest weightlifting equipment, they will meet your needs. They have cardio machines as well if you want to get your sweat on. Whatever direction you decide to go, trainers Clay Horton, Brick Grubbs, Andrew Coase, and Stephanie Hunt will be there to assist you along the way. So what are you waiting for? Oh yeah, how do I join? Just go to navarrefitness.net and check out our rates or call us at 850-816-5434. You can even stop by our location at 8700B Navarre Parkway in Navarre. You can also visit our sister gym, Midway Fitness, at 5660 Gulf Breeze Parkway, Unit 1. Both facilities are open 24/7. We are the place to go to get you started on the road to a better you.
Sometimes all you need to change your life is a sign. Like an actual sign that's like above you. And no, I don't love B-dubs just because I'm a buffalo with wings. Frankly, that's offensive and reductionist. It's like they made beer into a place and gave that place sports and chicken wings. And the people, the best. Marty! You're dead weight! Yeah, this place is kind of like heaven. You know, without needing to get hit by a bus. Let's go sports bar!
University Lending Group, located in Harvest Village, is Navarre's local mortgage lender. If buying, building, or refinancing a dream home is in your future, you need to contact University Lending Group. Jennifer Gomes, Stacy Wright, and Sheila Billingham are the loan specialists who have the experience to take you step by step to make your buying, building, or refinancing experiences smooth. So University Lending at 752 Navarre Parkway, Suite 56, or call us at 850-396-0322.
A strong work ethic takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because we understand what it takes to hire the right person. It takes real people, real interviews. We find good people, matching the right skills with the right jobs from the production floor to the front office. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
The Hustle isn't named after anyone, not after a designer, definitely not after a mythological god. It's not about stripes or ranking or status. The Hustle is real. The Hustle is about you. So keep in mind when you're repping and rocking Hustle Hard USA streetwear, you can tell all the onlookers that this mark, this brand represents your hustle, your grind. You put in that time, that sweat, that pain. Now it's up to you to show them all what you got. Win or lose, the hustle is real. Go to www.hustlehardusa.com and I can guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. Great teams have great support. The Navarre Raiders have one of the best support organizations, the Navarre Raider Quarterback Club. All the members see to it that the Raiders have all available necessities to keep the Raiders on track. Well, they're seeing to it that they are properly fed, have good transportation, or making sure that all Raider fans can hear all the exciting Navarre Raider football action. The Navarre Raider Quarterback Club is there to make it happen. Thanks, Navarre Raider Quarterback Club, for your support of your winning Navarre Raiders on IrishVilleSports.com.
Welcome to Bennett C. Russell Stadium for an Irish Bill Sports broadcast of Navarre Raider football. Here's your host and the voice of Raider Nation, Irish Bill. And here come the Raiders.
Welcome back to the Buffalo Wild Wings Coaches Show. Have you scoot over just a little bit, Coach? We're going to welcome first-year head coach of the Navarre Raiders, Garrett Bagley. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we start off. I thought I saw a lot of improvement last week in the game against Choctaw. Very strong Choctaw team, and they come into this game a struggle in week one, but the offensive line played a lot better this week.
Yes, sir, I agree. I think we talked to kids about it being more of a marathon than a sprint, and our goal is just to get better week by week. And I do think we accomplished that. We got a little bit better. Obviously, we got a long way to go.
Most definitely. Fortunately, they've been given the opponents the short field here in the first two games, and luckily your defense has been stepping up because these games scores could have been a lot wider margin than what they.
I think our defense is playing well. Obviously, they're being left on the field more than we would like, and they've been on short fields more than we would like. So that's situations that we got to get them out of. We got to keep them off the field. We got to give offenses long fields to drive. So like I said, going back to it, there's a lot of things that we got to get better at.
Well, I call it baby steps.
Sure.
You got to learn to crawl before you can walk, and that's the process where we're going. You have 10 new starters on offense. I don't know a whole lot of teams that would come out firing out the gates on all cylinder, replacing 10 starters on offense.
Right. I mean, ultimately, it's not a movie, right? We're not going to walk out there and just sprinkle fairy dust and be productive. We got lessons to learn, and it's not just all on the kids neither. We've got a lot of coaches in new positions too. I think we got to take responsibility for this as well. It starts with us, but I know the coaches are working hard. The kids are working hard. We're gaining valuable experience, and 10 one returning starter. We'd like to have more, but we don't. So it's a situation that we're in, and we're going to keep plugging along, make the most of it. As long as we're learning from these experiences and, getting better from them. We got district play coming up, so, that's the goal right now, just getting better every game and being where we need to be by the time these district games roll up.
You brought up about the coaches. Let everybody know who your coaching staff is.
We got a great staff. A lot of kind of new positions. I like to think that this is not like a one-year staff. I think it's more of a 10-year plan, right? I'm excited to work with these guys, hopefully for a long time, but on the offensive side of the ball, we start with Coach Gannis. He's our offensive coordinator. He's been with us now. I believe this is his third year. He's been
that guy's got a lot of energy.
Yeah, a lot of energy. He's a great football coach. He's got a brilliant mind for the game, obviously offensively. So looking forward to him doing big things. And, installing game plans takes time to get those things implemented. Another thing was, just kind of looking at these two games, we had some injuries in that first game that we had to adjust to. So realistically, this kind of new offensive scheme we put in last week was relatively new. We pretty much put that on Monday, and I think it may suit our guys a little better. So I'm excited to see how that package develops. Six
offensive linemen said, I haven't seen that in quite a while.
Yeah. No, and it's a little unorthodox, which I think can be good at times. So, I'm looking kind of forward to seeing where that package goes. Obviously, we're not putting all our eggs in that basket. We're going to also run the 12 and 11 personnel packages, but I think it's a nice wrinkle that I think it's going to be beneficial to us down the road. Circling back to the coaches, Coach Gannis is the offensive coordinator. Running backs, we have Coach Hemingway. He's been with us for a while. He's a great running back coach, a great community guy. Proud to have him.
Most definitely.
Yeah, we moved Coach Rhodes from his receiver position. He now is coaching quarterbacks. So Coach Rhodes has been with us. He's a great guy to work with. He moved partially because obviously we had a vacancy there because Coach Walls handled the quarterbacks. And we had an alumni we were fortunate enough to be able to pick up. Coach Lee Jones, he steps into the position to coach the receivers. And Coach Whited still handling tight ends and Fs.
Some of those coaches have been with you quite a while. Coach Whited, as Coach Road, I think, is on like his fourth or fifth year now.
Yeah, it's funny how, me looking into it, I feel like he hasn't been around that long, and it's probably been, like you said, maybe 5 or 6 years since Coach Rose came in with us. But we've got, I think, a good mix, especially on the offensive side of ball, as far as some guys that's been with us for a while. We got some new energy. We got, alumni, which I'm going to continue to try to get as many alumnus on the staff as I possibly can. So we're really excited about the offensive staff, and I'm looking forward to see where they take us.
Well, let's move over to the defensive side of the ball.
Yep, defensive side of the ball. Start with the defensive coordinator, Coach Lawson. Coach Lawson is another alumni. He's been with us for a long time, right? He played at Navarre. He's handled the secondary.
I remember when he played.
Right, linebacker for us.
Yeah.
So he's our longtime secondary coach when I was a coordinator, and so now it's a pretty natural fit for him to step in and do the coordinating on defense. So obviously looking forward to seeing what he does with the package as well. Already running a new scheme with the 4-2-5. Out of what we've been running was the Bear package. So a little bit different scheme he came in and is implementing. I think he's doing a great job working with him in the secondary. And Coach Lawson is he's our coordinator, and he specifically works with safeties. Coach Jamie Jones is our cornerbacks coach. We've had him now he's been in the program for a while. He coached at the freshman level for a couple years, and I think we pulled him over to the varsity probably 2 years ago, I believe. He's another high-energy guy. Kids love him, so he's great to have around. Linebackers this year to replace me, Austin Wilson is a first-year coach for us. He's got a lot of coaching experience. He's been a defensive coordinator before. I think he may even have a little bit of college experience. So he's been a great addition. He fits in well, so he's been a blessing, and looking forward to seeing the things that he does. And then Coach Benjamin, again with us on defensive line, high-energy guy, teacher of character. He's a great guy to have on staff as well.
Who's coaching our JV and freshman teams this year?
Let me go back because I do this at times. We have a gentleman that busts his tail for us. Does a great job, coaches our kickers, our snappers, our holders, also helps us with a lot of the JV special teams, Coach Gardner.
Most definitely. I've got to know him over the last couple of years with my son being a kicker as well. But your JV coach is coached by whom?
JV we handle in-house, so basically the varsity staff kind of pulls double duty because a lot of those guys are – we call them 6-quarter guys. In Florida we have a 6-quarter rule. Our kids can play up to 6 quarters. Any combination, they could play 2 for JV, 4 for varsity, 3 and 3, just, whatever works out in their specific situation. So a lot of those guys, there's a lot of crossover. So we handle JV with the varsity staff, and pretty much, especially with some people having new positions, we coach what we coach on varsity. There's been years in the past where we give different responsibilities on JV, especially to help some of the younger coaches get more advanced, but I wanted to maintain the head role so that I get my experience too. I'm new to this as far as managing games, and I felt it was important for Coach Lawson to get his some more experience in his play calling on the JV level. It's good practice on Thursday nights for us as well. So basically going back to it, we pretty much handle everything as we do on varsity.
Is Paul Brown still coaching the freshmen?
Coach Brown's no longer with us.
No longer?
Yeah, Paul Taylor's the head coach
Paul
of the
Taylor?
freshmen.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's got a great staff. What a blessing those guys are, because a lot of those are just community volunteers, that spend a lot of time up here with the program, molding kids. And to be honest, that's, I think that program gets overlooked a lot as far as its importance, because to me that's the foundation of our program. It starts there, and I think Coach Taylor does a great job implementing the fundamentals and the structure, and the culture of the program. I know is something that he focuses on heavily.
Well, let's go back. Coach Walls departs, goes over to Bainbridge, and you knew this was a great opportunity. You've been here since 2006, if I remember right.
Yes, that's correct.
You coached under Coach Larry Olson.
My first
You got your
coach.
start. How did you get in the right mindset going into your first season as a head coach?
I think it was pretty natural, to be honest with you, because I think just from being here for so long, had established relationships with coaches and players, and there was a need that needed to be filled. It's not like, a head coach is something that I've always been chomping on the bit to chase. I've been happy where I'm at, and I've never felt like it was broke and needed fixed. So the transition was pretty easy. It was nice because I felt like, as far as administration and the school and for the most part, the community, I think that the support was there. And, it was a nice experience to be able to step into that position smoothly.
You had a chance to take the young men up to Munson for a retreat. How did that go?
I thought it was great. It was kind of full circle for me. The big story on that is that's where I went to high school football camp at as a junior and senior at Milton High School. And it just happened. I found out that a buddy of mine that I played football and graduated with bought that property. So when I got the job, that's something that I always wanted to get back to, was taking our kids back to camp. It is an expensive task, and I think that's why we got away from it some years ago. So luckily, this gentleman was willing to make it an opportunity that was obtainable. And so I felt like we got a lot out of that camp. I think we got some football out of it, but I think we got a lot of bonding and some of the intangibles that I think are necessary and, lacking in a little bit of modern football as far as, spending the time with each other, building bonds. We talk to our guys. They can't really, they don't have the luxury of picking who lines up to the right and to the left of them. That's determined by ability and, dedication. And
most definitely.
They need to be able to create a bond with people outside their cliques. And I think that that was an opportunity that the kids took advantage of. We took their phones from them, forced them into, a situation where they had to communicate and spend a lot of time with one another. And I felt that coming out of that, we were a more closely knit team than we were going into it, which was the main goal.
And with as many changes going with the starters,
sure.
Yes, you do have 7 or 8 starters coming back on defense, but 10. I mean, you're replacing over half of your lineup, and I think that was very important to get that bonding session in.
Right, especially offensively, because those relationships and working with players, it's very much about the relationship of working with each other, from combo blocks to reading blocks, where defensively, not saying it's not important to have that same chemistry, but I feel like it's almost more important on offense.
And we're gonna see each week this season as the team's going to improve, and I'm looking for that big game in a couple of weeks against your alma mater, Milton.
I'm trying not to overlook. I'm excited to play Mosley. They're a great football team. I think it's going to be a great test. And all these, these first 2 games have been very challenging. They're very good football teams. Mosley's the same. They're a very talented football team. And it's a good test for us, and it's a good character builder, and it's adversity that I think is going to be beneficial as the season continues.
I remember we go back a couple of years, the last time that Navarre went over to Mosley, and that was one of the most exciting games of the year. You battled back in the fourth quarter, scored the last 10 points on a Taylor Gardner field goal to put you ahead,
right.
And then the defense closed it out.
Yes, sir.
A couple of big fourth down conversions there in the fourth quarter, and pulled out one of the most exciting wins at Navarre.
That was one to remember. It was an exciting game, yeah.
It always makes those long road trips always makes it nice to come back on a W, doesn't it?
It makes that trip a little shorter.
But going through the rest of the season, actually, I should say, coming into this season, what were your goals and expectations for this team as the season goes on? I know you go through periods of adjustment as the season goes, but what were your initial goals and expectations for this team?
I think what probably gets overlooked, I hope it doesn't, is we're not a college, we're not a professional football team. We are a high school football team. So my aspirations, we're not going to be perfect as a coaching staff, but we're definitely going to do the best we can to try to implement character and discipline and the things that's going to make these young men successful later in life. So I think that should always be, at least in high school football, job number one. And then beyond that, just, my goals, we have our long-term goals, but to me, you have to accomplish the short-term goals to get to those. So I'm kind of a one game at a time. I don't look down the road too much. Game 1 was the most important, and right now I feel like I'm in the same boat. The only thing I'm really worried about, I know we got district games coming up, but we're in a position where we have to get better every week. In order to do that, we really got to focus on this week, with it being an off week. I don't even like using the term off week, but an open week. we're trying to make it all about us. You know, we've got things that we've got to get better at as far as our fundamentals of football. So that's what we focus on this week, and then next week we'll move on and focus on what it is to implement our best game plan moving forward with Mosley. And I think we gain experience every time we do that. So when we get to the point of district games, which, you know, put us in contention for playoffs, and that's really the games of importance. They're all important, but obviously there's a little bit more that hangs on those goals. You know, just taking it one goal at a time and getting better week by week. You know, I feel like if we look too far ahead, we can miss those steps in between, and right now we're just not in a position to do that.
Normally you don't like that bye week early in the season, but I think it couldn't have come at a better time.
I'm going to agree with you.
Especially with a few of the players banged up.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that.
And because it kind of sets up that 8 straight weeks of Thursday and Friday night football, but I think this was good timing.
No, I agree. You know, it's always you look at those open weeks and you kind of look at them and try to find the pros and cons in them. I think this was kind of pretty clear that this was a good chance for us, you know, for more than just, you know, we've had some injuries. You know, it gives us an extra week to get those guys healed up, and we need everybody we can get. But also, I think having those 2 games and then having an open week, we can really analyze those 2 weeks and find what our weaknesses are and really focus on those and kind of come back to center as far as, you know, fixing our football fundamentals, you know, and then hopefully we get those cleaned up this week and then, you know, move into a game plan next week.
Well, we look forward to you coming on each and every Wednesday night if you can make it.
Yes, sir.
If you're not eating too many hot dogs out there on Wednesday night, or do you stay away from them?
Nah, it depends. It depends. You know, Wednesday is one of our big staff meeting nights, so I'll be pulling up here pretty quick in the parking lot.
Well, I'm glad that you brought the players along with you tonight because it's always fun to talk with the players as well.
I think you got a good crew we brought in here. Our defensive line's doing a great job for us. A bunch of good guys. They're fun to watch. They love football. I think that's apparent when you watch their play. And very proud of all these guys you're about to talk to.
And I know Buffalo Wild Wings loves having them here because these guys can eat.
I think they're regulars. I think they're regulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Garrett Bagley, first-year head coach at Navarre, been at Navarre since 2006. And, Coach, just stick with it. You're going to get our Raiders going, and we have high expectations down the road for you.
Yes, sir. Thanks for your support. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes,
Coach
sir.
Bagley. We're going to go ahead and take a commercial break. Then we'll be back with a few of the Navarre Raider defensive linemen. This is Irish Bill with Mr. Clean, Paul Villanova. And then we'll be back after this commercial break on the Buffalo Wild Wings Coaches Show from Buffalo Wild Wings in Navarre.
To everyone who loves Culver's, the feeling is mutual. I'm Nicole from Culver's of Cross Plains, Wisconsin. And when I'm serving you a Butterburger, I'm just as happy as you are. I almost get giddy when I hear the sizzle of our fresh beef on the grill. Seeing that smile that comes from a meal made just right, some call it magic, but I like to call it love at first bite. Stop in for a cook-to-order Butterburger and let us make Culver's your happy place.
From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Navarre Fitness is where old school meets new. Whether you're into free weights or the latest and greatest weightlifting equipment, they will meet your needs. They have cardio machines as well if you want to get your sweat on. Whatever direction you decide to go, trainers Clay Horton, Brick Grubbs, Andrew Coase, and Stephanie Hunt will be there to assist you along the way. So what are you waiting for? Oh yeah, how do I join? Just go to navarrefitness.net and check out our rates or call us at 850-816-5434. You can even stop by our location at 8700B Navarre Parkway in Navarre. You can also visit our sister gym, Midway Fitness, at 5660 Gulf Breeze Parkway, Unit 1. Both facilities are open 24/7. We are the place to go to get you started on the road to a better you. University Lending Group, located in Harvest Village, is Navarre's local mortgage lender. A buying, building, or refinancing a dream home is in your future. You need to contact University Lending Group. Jennifer Gomes, Stacy Wright, and Sheila Billingham are the loan specialists who have the experience to take you step by step to make your buying, building, or refinancing experiences smooth. So University Lending at 752 Navarre Parkway, Suite 56, or call us at 850-396-0322.
A strong work ethic, takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because we understand what it takes to hire the right person. It takes real people, real interviews. We find good people, matching the right skills with the right jobs from the production floor to the front office. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
It's Coach's Show. I'm Paul Villanova, and with me we have defensive stalwart lineman Braxton Barr, senior at Navarre High. Welcome, Braxton.
Thank you.
So Braxton, before we get into football, tell me a little bit about your background. I think you've been in Navarre for 10 years now or so?
It's about 7, about to be 8, I think. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I moved here when I was 10. I've been playing football since I moved here. I've been playing football since before I moved here, so I've just been around football for forever.
All the time I've known you, I never knew you were from Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Really? You were born and raised?
Yes,
Wow.
sir. Well, I was born there, and I grew up right under Memphis in a little town in Mississippi.
What's that town? Tunica? Near Tunica?
Yes, sir. It's Hernando, Mississippi.
I know where Hernando is.
Yeah.
For my real job, I covered Mississippi for years and went up there in the Delta.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
The Mississippi Delta. All right, so you've been here. I think I met you when you were 10. Did you play 11U the first time?
Yes, sir. I think I had to skip the first year I moved here because I think I moved here during the football season.
Okay.
I don't think I was able to play the first year I moved here, but I've been playing ever since.
Yeah, I remember 10U or 11U at NYSA, and we were just talking at the table over there. When you first came to the high school, you played O-line, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Talk about that. And,
so I played O-line all my life. I played center, tackle. I don't think I ever played guard, but I was playing O-line all my life. And then my sophomore year, I tried out for tight end, and I think I was tight end for about a week, and they moved me to D-line. So I've been playing D-line ever since my sophomore year.
Didn't have the hands for tight end, or was they?
My hands were pretty good. My route running was not there. Besides that, the rest of it was pretty good. I was fast enough, strong enough, had good hands, but my route running was not there.
So you played D-line now for 3 years since
Yes,
sophomore year.
Yes, sir.
And last year, kind of came into your own and played. I think you start last year on the D-line.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about your. I think we had Coach Benjamin. This is his second year at Navarre. He
Yes,
came
sir.
from Escambia. Talk about his coaching style and what he looks for you guys.
I love Coach Ben. Ever since he came, I feel like he's definitely made us a better D-line. We had a couple of different coaches. We just had kind of coaches bouncing around until we found one that really stuck, and it was Coach Ben. And Coach Ben's been with us, and he's been getting us right.
And you know what? I not to put words in his mouth, but I know he's all about not only teaching good football technique, but about raising.
Oh yes, sir, for sure. I think all the coaches are about raising good men and all that. And just on top of coaching football, they're all about life and that good stuff.
So talk about this is the second year under Coach Benjamin, and defense has been good. Last year, we gave up a lot of points. This year, we've out of the gate given up some points, but the defense has been solid.
Yes, sir. I think the defense is solid. We have our box players are the same from last year, I think, except for we lost our starting nose guard. But besides that, and we're running a new defense this year, so I think that's a lot better for us.
Who was nose guard last year that we lost?
Tristan.
Oh, Ferreira. That's right. I forgot about that because he was only here for 1 year.
Yeah,
but you're right, and different scheme. On defense, I think we lost a total of maybe 4 starters. But on offense, we've lost 10. So that's some of the issues we're having on offense.
Yeah. We just got a lot of young guys on offense. They're learning. I mean, they're doing good. They just got to keep working and getting better.
We'll talk about the first 2 games. Everybody's before we talk about the particulars of the games, how do you guys block out? Maybe you don't even hear the noise, but how do you block out any of the noise?
I normally just don't listen. I try to just not listen. I just think if you're not out there practicing with us every day, and Coach Bagley says that if you're not out there practicing with us, if you're not out there grinding with us, you can't really talk. That's just what he says, and I think
that's the way it should be. And you think about it. those games matter, right? But you play two good teams. Catholic is, two state semifinalists last year. Choctaw is in the top 25 in the state this year.
Yes, sir.
So even if we played at the top of our games, it would have been a struggle, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm sure Coach Bagley is talking about this. What are the most important games to you guys this year?
Most important games?
Yeah.
Well, obviously we have our district games. Those are probably our most important. And then when we win those, playoffs.
And that's kind of what I was getting at. Really, the first two games, we were 0-2 last year, start off 0-2 this year, but really it's about the district games.
Yes, sir, for sure. Because you win those, you go to playoffs, and you extend your season.
Yeah, yeah. And, of course, you want to beat Gulf Breeze.
Oh, yes, sir, for sure. Are they not in our district this year?
They're not. No.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
So this year our district is it's tough. It's Crestview, Tate, and Pace.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I forgot they changed the district.
Yep, but Gulf Breeze is a team we always want to win against, and we have a little bit of added incentive this year with Niceville too.
Oh yes, sir, for sure. Definitely want to beat Niceville. I know some dudes on there. I have some friends on there. So.
I think we all do, right?
Yes, sir.
Definitely
gonna be a competitive game. Definitely want to win that. Have fun.
And that's senior night.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So talk about your senior season. It's like I'm a big country music fan. Kenny Chesney song "Don't Blink." It's like all of a sudden you guys are seniors.
It is. It's weird because it really does go by fast. Like, I didn't listen to anybody when they were telling me it's gonna go by fast. Like you're gonna be a senior before you know it, and now I'm a senior. And
when I knew it was going by fast, when all of a sudden you showed up one day with a mustache and beard.
Oh yeah.
I'm
sir.
You were the Braxton Barr, the young, the little guy that were running around. All of a sudden you're a grown man. So we'll talk about. We mentioned the first two games. Talk about the battles that were out there. Again, we don't have to talk about the final scores or anything like that, but just talk about the opponents and what you guys were up against.
Well, we played two really good teams, so they're obviously going to be a hard matchup. Our defense was pretty solid. We still have stuff to work on, obviously, because they put 30-something points on us. And then offense, we have stuff to work on there too. I got trying to put points on the board, and that's about it. And defense stopping them from putting points on the board.
And from game one to game two, we did make strides. I don't think we had a first down in the first game until late in the fourth quarter. And
I definitely saw improvement from everyone from the first game to the second game. So that's good.
Yeah, for sure. And you got to put that behind you and move forward. And I love the fact that Coach Bagley says, if you're not out there, you don't know. Mm-hmm. So talk about a little bit. We'll end with this, but talk a little bit about the culture. You played under Coach Walls for a couple of years.
Yes,
great culture, great coach. And Coach Bagley coming in this year, a lot of it's the same, but some of it's different too, right? So talk about that a little bit, the culture and how some of the things are different.
Sorry.
Is that good or bad? Or are you laughing at Vinny?
Yeah, I'm laughing at Vinny. So the culture is good. You said it didn't really change much from Coach Walls to Coach Bagley, but it's still good. I like playing. I love playing under Coach Walls. I love playing under Coach Bagley too. They really try to teach the same lessons. Like it's not all about football is not all about just winning games and winning and losing, all that. It's about learning about life and what you're gonna do after school and when you grow up and how to treat people and all that.
So great segue. What do you want to do? What plans do you have after you graduate from school? Do you have any plans? Or?
I'm not sure yet. I want to go to college, but I'm not sure what I want to do yet. I'm not certain. I don't have anything picked yet, so I need to start thinking on that.
How about schools? Any schools?
No, sir.
It sounds like I'm talking to. Yeah. It's a familiar conversation. Mm-hmm. And the last question I'll ask you, just because we talked about the culture and talk about that camp you guys went to up in
goodness,
up in Munson, Florida, out in the woods with no phones for 3 days.
That was crazy. It was fun. It definitely was fun. We rode up there. I don't even remember what day we rode up there.
On Monday.
Monday. Yeah, we rode up there Monday. We stopped at a little. I want to say it was like a lake or something. I don't know. We swam.
Swimming
we had
hole.
Fun. Yeah, but then someone left some trash out. So we had to do up downs in the rain and the mud before we even got there. And then we get there and we had practice and we just had fun. We played had teams and we were really competitive. We had our cow lines. We they were our teams, and then like we like did competitions all camp, and the winner, I forget what the winner got something. Anyways, the bottom 3 teams had a run. Like, so there was this long road leading to the camp. They had to run down the road.
Yeah, I know the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did your team win?
No, sir. We were the bottom 3 teams. We had to run.
And the one thing, it's funny that you're talking about how great it was, but I remember when you first came back from that camp, I said, Braxton, how was the camp? And the first word that came out of your mouth was spiders.
Yeah, I'm bougie, so I don't like spiders. I don't like.
Bougie.
Yeah. I like my bed. I don't like to sleep nowhere else besides my bed, but it was overall, it was fun. But the spiders in the woods,
and no phone,
it started getting to me.
And no phone for 3 days.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Sir.
We have Braxton Bard, senior defensive lineman for the Navarre Raiders. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And at some point you'll figure out what you're going to do after school.
Yes, sir, for sure.
All right, we'll go to commercial break and have Irish Bill bring up the next guest. All right. All right, Bill.
Hey, good job, Braxton. Thanks, buddy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Buffalo Wild Wings Coaches Show. Nice interview there by Paul with Braxton. And we'll be taking another commercial break, a quick one here. I'll get through a couple of commercials, and we'll be back with our next interview coming up. We'll have Easy Gasca on next, and we'll be right back.
The Hustle isn't named after anyone, not after a designer, definitely not after a mythological god. It's not about stripes or ranking or status. The Hustle is real. The Hustle is about you. So keep in mind when you're repping and rocking Hustle Hard USA streetwear, you can tell all the onlookers that this mark, this brand represents your hustle, your grind. You put in that time, that sweat, that pain. Now it's up to you to show them all what you got. Win or lose, the hustle is real. Go to www.hustlehardusa.com, and I can guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. Great teams have great support. The Navarre Raiders have one of the best support organizations, the Navarre Raider Quarterback Club. All the members see to it that the Raiders have all available necessities to keep the Raiders on track. Well, they're seeing to it that they are properly fed, have good transportation, or making sure that all Raider fans can hear all the exciting Navarre Raider football action. The Navarre Raider Quarterback Club is there to make it happen. Thanks, Navarre Raider Quarterback Club, for your support of your winning Navarre Raiders on IrishBillSports.com.
Welcome back to the Buffalo Wild Wings Coaches Show. This is Irish Bill. Our next guest will be, every time you make a tackle, I'd love to just stretch it out easy as long as Easy Gasca, defensive 2-year starter on the defensive line for the Navarre Raiders. Coming into this season, I know you got to talk with Paul last week.
Yep.
And you're starting to be a regular on our show.
Yeah, I am.
Just don't ask for money in the future, okay? You're getting very popular around here. Anyways. Coming into this season, quite a few starters back on defense. How has that helped you come into this season, knowing that you got a bunch of guys that you played with last year?
I mean, it's great. Our team is really connected. I mean, we work together very well. Our defense is pretty much brothers.
Most definitely. Switching over from a 3-4 that we played last year to a 4-2-5. What's your preference? Do you like the 4-2?
Oh, I love the 4-2-5. I love covering up the ends and keeping the contain.
Well, one of the reasons I like it, because when you're starting 4 linebackers, that's putting a lot of pressure, and you're going to wear your linebackers out eventually. I think going to a 4-2 allows them to utilize space a lot more, because we got 2 good ones with Andre Spence and Vinny Villanova. I mean, what a job they've both done the last 2 years. You got your guys on the line, which we're going to talk to Bryce Wheeler And a lot of people look at this guy. This guy's only a sophomore.
Yeah.
He started last year as a freshman on the defensive line for you guys. This guy could play linebacker, too. He's very versatile.
Yeah, he's an athlete. He's definitely an athlete.
And a very smart young man as well, from what I hear. Going into this season, what expectations – are most of your expectations team-oriented, or did you have any goals for yourself coming into this season?
I mean, honestly, you always got to have goals for yourself, or you're never gonna get better. So, I definitely have goals for myself to be better than I was last year. And even the team, I expect us, I have faith in us to be able to do what we were able to do last year and some.
Most definitely. And everybody looks at the Navarre's 0-2. Look at the two teams they played, two of the better teams in the Panhandle.
Right.
Catholic is probably one of the best small school teams in the area from here to Tallahassee. There are a lot of talented D1 players. The Choctaw, a lot of speed on defense, very talented back, excellent offensive line. They look at the scores and say, well, Navarre's not playing very well. Well, that's not really true.
Right.
The first game against Catholic, 8 of their 9 possessions started on our end of the field.
Right, yeah. I mean,
you held them to 33 points. Well, people say you gave up 33. Well, you got to look at where they started the field. 4 times out of 45.
Right, yeah.
And then this next game, Choctaw started about 3 or 4 of their possessions on our end of the field. But the defense continues to step up in big situations.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Our defense is very well at holding up other offenses, great offenses. I mean, Choctaw and Catholic were both very good teams, and they were a good competition. And I think it was great that we played them first to see where we were. I mean, we lost, but we just got to take those losses and
you got to learn. You got to learn from those losses. We got a big game coming up next Thursday night games, which I don't care what night you guys play on. I'm going to be there. Right. I've been doing this for 16. This is my 16th year. A trip over to Panama City to play another very high octane offense in Mosley.
Yeah, I mean, Mosley's a very diverse team. They've got it all over there, and it's going to be a tough game. And
this is your longest road trip. I've been in ones where you got to take trips to Tallahassee. I don't like those as a broadcaster, especially if you come home on the short end of the scoreboard. That trip back is a long one.
Oh, yeah. It definitely is. I know we were getting home pretty late. I know last year during Rickards, or the year before during Rickards, after we played them, it was a long bus ride home, even after the win.
Yeah, we had a steady rain that night, too, and it wasn't hard, but it just lasted the whole game. I'm up there holding up my umbrella trying to keep my equipment dry, and Bob Grant's over there with me as well. But that blue turf, that was awful.
Oh, yeah, the turf was terrible. It was it was hard, and it had no grip, and it was terrible. I was slipping all over the place.
But you got Mosley coming up. As Coach Bagley says, we take it 1 week at a time.
Right.
Having this bye week, I think, couldn't have come at a better time.
Right,
you got a few of your teammates that are banged up. I think this was appropriate time for your open week.
Yeah, it's usually rough having an early bye week, but we've really got to learn off this one and use it to our advantage against Mosley.
You got 3 districts coming up, games coming up down the road. The first one with Milton, then Tate after that, and then they'll finish up with Pace. And we've had Pace's number for quite a while, but they have a very talented team.
Right.
But your next step is Mosley, and I wish you guys a great practice this week, getting ready for next week's game, going into the game, and wish you guys all the best next week.
Thank you.
Easy Gasca, starting defensive lineman for the Navarre Raiders. Thanks, Easy. We're not going to take a break. We're going to go right in.
No commercial break. We're right in. All right, no commercial break. We're going right to right back at it. Buffalo Wild Wings coaching show. I've got sophomore Bryce Wheeler with me. Bryce, move your microphone up towards your mouth. Welcome.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
I know you're tired. Been a long week, and it's only Wednesday, but How's the week been going so far?
I mean, it started off a little slow, but it's definitely getting better as the days go on.
Okay. Bill, turn it up. Can you turn it up? I don't know if it's maybe the microphone a little bit closer, boys. All right, there we go. So Bryce, sophomore. Last year, freshman, obviously got to. What was it like coming into high school and as a freshman, you find out you made varsity?
I mean, I had a feeling I was going to make it like maybe towards like the end of the season. Like that's what most people do, but I was very surprised when I got called to Coach Walls' office and he was like, "You're going to come and practice with us." And I was like, "Wow, that's something I've always like wanted to do. I wanted to play varsity freshman year. I got to. Very blessed to have received that opportunity. I mean, and I took full advantage of it."
Yeah, you certainly did. You make a good point. A lot of freshmen, maybe the last game or the last two games they get to dress, but I think it was you and you tell me there was a couple of guys, right, that got bumped.
Yes, me, Peyton Robinson, and Jared Hoyla. We all got pulled up during the summer, and we stuck with the team the rest of the year.
Did you guys play JV at all? Did you play any JV games?
Yeah, we were 6-quarter guys, but I'm not sure what they did last year. But for me, I mostly dressed for varsity. I was just there on the JV sidelines because they had like no depth. But yeah.
But you didn't have to play. You didn't get into.
Not really.
But I remember that last year as a freshman. I remember seeing you in some games. You actually got play time. And I'm trying to remember who was on the D-line last year. Tristan and who else?
Tristan, Ferreira, Braxton, and Easy.
And yourself.
Oh, yes, sir.
And last year we for years Navarre had the 3-4. Talk a little bit about that. We changed this year to a 4-2-5.
Yes, sir.
And you're smiling because you.
Yeah, I love that. I don't know. It just seems more balanced, and I mean, I just like it a lot.
And you play tackle or?
Yes, sir. Tackle.
So you and Easy are the.
Yeah, we're both on the strength side together.
Okay, and then you got Will and Braxton on the
yes, sir.
On the outside.
Yes,
so talk a little bit about your defense. I know we've documented the struggles of the offense so far. We've had a lot of turnover. I think only one returning starter on the offense, but the defense. Most of you guys are back from last year.
Yes, sir.
Talk about the strength in the defense and the leadership in the defense, and that's going to be your team, your defense in a year.
I mean, yeah, it's a great defense. I mean, there's a lot of returning players. We're really good at stopping the run game. I mean, these last few games we've had a struggle maybe with like some of the screens, but I mean, other than that, we got a really solid defense, and I mean, it's just going to get better from here.
And once the offense will get clicking, it's just a matter of those guys learning in time. And I said this to Braxton when I was talking to him earlier: is as bad as those two games were, if you want to call it that, in the scheme of things, they don't even matter. It's it's about the district and it's about getting better every week. Mm-hmm. And so this is a bye week. What are you guys focusing on this week?
I mean, we're just focusing on the team effort. Just trying to get better all together. I mean, and I think it's working pretty well because, I mean, we're all, coming together again just like before the season started. So, I mean, I'm just hoping, and I'm pretty sure at least, that we're going to start clicking again.
I think you will. All right, so today's Wednesday. Talk a little bit about, you played at the NYSA for years. You come to high school and things are different. Talk about Raider Dog Wednesday. Is that something you guys look forward to? If people don't know, every Wednesday, the freshmen, JV, and varsity all eat hot dogs, and it was a lot more elaborate years ago. They used to have chili and all this kind of stuff, and now it's just hot dogs. But
yeah, I didn't know about any of those things before coming to high school because I was like, "What's this?" And they're like, "Oh, we do it every Wednesday." I'm like, "Oh, I never knew about that." But I mean, it's a very good tradition. I like it a lot. I mean, it gives people time to just hang out with your teammates and talk to people. I mean, it's great for just team bonding.
So, great point, team bonding. I asked Braxton about the same thing this year, with Coach Walls leaving and Coach Bagley coming in. Some things have changed, but some are the same.
Right.
I mean, some have changed, some are the same. You guys went on that camp up in – talk about your experience. Braxton told me, and I don't know if he was telling me the truth or not, but he was saying how great it was. And
I mean, yeah, it was great, like, experience-wise. I mean, it was a little, like, whoa, what's going on? But I think it's great for team buildings. I mean, you're going to a place that's kind of, out of the ordinary. So, I mean, you got to, rely on your guys. Because, I mean, you're if you can't rely on them there, how are you going to rely on them on the field, right?
Yep. And I think that was kind of what Coach Bagley's point was.
Yeah, and it's a great way to bring people together.
No, I got to visit that camp before you guys went up. I was one of the ones that went up and helped clean it. Were you in one of the cabins, or were you in the big room?
I was in the big room.
Big room, okay. Like 50 people?
Yes, sir.
So who was in charge of that room?
Roman Marshall.
All right.
Yeah, it was very hot in there.
Yeah. In fact, that was the first thing Coach Bagley asked when he got back. He's like, any of the companies we work with, like Lowe's or Ace Hardware, can they get us some air conditioners? Because you've got 2 more years of doing that. I think they're going to do it again.
Yes, sir.
But I like that. I like the idea. And I think Coach Bagley, when he first came up with the idea, was let's put guys in an environment where no phones for a couple days, and it kind of forces people to interact with people that they don't normally hang out with.
Right.
And I think that he accomplished that. So, all right. So forget football for a little bit. Talk about Bryce Wheeler. And you from Navarre? Grew up here? Or,
yeah. I mean, I've been here since 2013. So I mean, football. I mean, you said not to talk about football, but ever since I got here, ever since I got here and saw Raider football and seeing these guys, I was like, I want to be one of them one day. And
so 2013. How old were you when you moved here?
I was 4.
Wow. Okay.
So I mean,
where were you born?
Georgia.
Okay.
I was there for 4 years, and then I moved back here because family lives over here. And I mean, it's so much better here than where I used to live. We got the beach, got all access to all these things. I mean, just in general, you have so many more opportunities here. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to be. I mean,
that's awesome.
Yes.
It's tough to beat it. I mean, I think kids sometimes take it for granted.
Right.
You're on the beach in 5 minutes if you want to be, right?
Right.
And, but I remember you from the NYSA. I used to run the football program over there. I don't even know if you knew that, but I worked with your mom. She's on the board at the NYSA, and I remember I always heard about you and knew of you, but I didn't really watch you play until you came to the high school, and it's been a pleasure. You remind me of so I watch a lot of kids come through the NYSA just from being there. You remind me of Grady Kelly. I don't know. I don't know if you know Grady. And
I was friends with his younger brother Ashton for a while. And
that's right. Ashton played. He was a quarterback, wasn't he, for a while?
Yes, sir. And I was always hearing about Grady and his dad. He would come and help coach us at the NYSA, and he's like, "You really remind me of Grady." He's like, because at that time, when you're little league, you play both ways. You don't have that many people. And he's like, once you get to high school, you got to pick what side of the ball you want. And he's like, you play a lot like Grady. So I mean, I would recommend defense, and that's really what swayed me to play defense in high school. Yeah, I was like, I don't really care. I mean, I like playing both sides of the ball, but they're like, you got to pick one or the other. I'm like, I have to think about it. And I was like, I guess I'll play defense because it seems it's way more physical.
You like to hit people.
Less rules.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But, I remember when Grady played 11U and 10U, you just knew.
Right.
You watched him and just knew, and he just was a different level.
Right.
And I see that watching you. Like I said, I didn't get to watch you a lot when you were playing Little League, but at the high school it's the same thing. You just got to get a little bit bigger like Grady.
Yes,
I mean, the last time I saw him was at the Shark Gym, and his legs were the size of my waist.
He's massive. He's playing at Florida State now.
Playing at Florida State, and but hey, as a sophomore, already playing and starting, and kind of leading that defensive line with a couple of seniors. It's
great opportunity.
Super opportunity. So, what do you want to do not long term, but you want to play football in college?
Yeah, I mean, that's the dream, anyways. I mean, get free education, play the sport I love. I mean, after that, sports broadcasting, anything to do with sports. I mean, that's long term, anyways. Is I just want to stick with football, in any way I can.
Well, you seem like a natural in sports broadcasting. You've caught around. I thought you were going to be sleeping. How tired you were, and you caught around the interview and doing well. So, anything you want to end with? Anything you want to talk about for this year or next? Or
we're getting better. We're always getting better. Watch out for Navarre.
That's it, and I'll just have to say, as a dad of a player and who's a senior, it's kind of tough to watch them go through a year that's going to be a tough year this year, no doubt about it. But every year, every game is getting better,
right?
And that's what it's all about. So you come back next year, and you're going to be one of the leaders of the team, and and Navarre's going to be, we've always had a good program here, right, under Coach Walls, and it's going to be no different under Coach Bagley.
It's going to be no different.
Well, thank you, Bryce. I appreciate your time. And that was Bryce Wheeler, sophomore defensive lineman for the Raiders. Last question I'll ask you, just because I love Coach Benji. Talk about Coach Benji for a second.
He's a really gung-ho guy. I first met him during the summer. He didn't know what grade I was in, and I was like, I'm a freshman. He's like, well, grade doesn't matter with me, and that obviously it didn't, because, I played a lot last year as a freshman. He's had full faith in me. He's a great coach, probably the best coach I've ever had. I love him so much. I can't wait to keep learning under him.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Bryce. I appreciate it.
Yes,
again, Bryce Wheeler, Navarre Raiders. Thanks.
Hope you're enjoying the Buffalo Wild Wings Coaches Show. This is week 2 of the 2024 schedule. We're going to take a commercial break, so the people that are paying the bills, we got to let you all know who that is, because without them, we couldn't come to you every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday nights, or sometimes Thursdays, depending on Navarre's playing. But we'll be right back after this commercial break.
To everyone making time for life's best moments, let our team member Sandy share how Culver's is serving up Celebration by the Scoop.
Our rich and creamy fresh frozen custard makes every day a little bit sweeter. Enjoying a handcrafted treat with all the ooey gooey toppings you love? Now that's worth celebrating.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a sweet treat to make every moment count. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Navarre Fitness is where old school meets new. Whether you're into free weights or the latest and greatest weightlifting equipment, they will meet your needs. They have cardio machines as well if you want to get your sweat on. Whatever direction you decide to go, trainers Clay Horton, Brick Grubbs, Andrew Coase, and Stephanie Hunt will be there to assist you along the way. So what are you waiting for? Oh yeah, how do I join? Just go to navarrefitness.net and check out our rates, or call us at 850-816-5434. You can even stop by our location at 8700B Navarre Parkway in Navarre. You can also visit our sister gym, Midway Fitness, at 5660 Gulf Breeze Parkway, Unit 1. Both facilities are open 24/7. We are the place to go to get you started on the road to a better you. University Lending Group, located in Harvest Village, is Navarre's local mortgage lender. If buying, building, or refinancing a dream home is in your future, you need to contact University Lending Group. Jennifer Gomes, Stacy Wright, and Sheila Billingham are the loan specialists who have the experience to take you step by step to make your buying, building, or refinancing experiences smooth. So University Lending at 752 Navarre Parkway, Suite 56, or call us at 850-396-0322.
A strong work ethic takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help, because we understand what it takes to hire the right person. It takes real people, real interviews. We find good people, matching the right skills with the right jobs, from the production floor to the front office. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
The Hustle isn't named after anyone, not after a designer, definitely not after a mythological god. It's not about stripes or ranking or status. The Hustle is real. The Hustle is about you. So keep in mind when you're repping and rocking Hustle Hard USA streetwear, you can tell all the onlookers that this mark, this brand represents your hustle, your grind. You put in that time, that sweat, that pain. Now it's up to you to show them all what you got. Win or lose, the hustle is real. Go to www.hustlehardusa.com, and I can guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. Great teams have great support. The Navarre Raiders have one of the best support organizations, the Navarre Raider Quarterback Club. All the members see to it that the Raiders have all available necessities to keep the Raiders on track. Well, they're seeing to it that they are properly fed, have good transportation, or making sure that all Raider fans can hear all the exciting Navarre Raider football action. The Navarre Raider Quarterback Club is there to make it happen. Thanks, Navarre Raider Quarterback Club, for your support of your winning Navarre Raiders on IrishBillSports.com.
Green Acres is the place to be.
I know. I'm showing my age here a little bit, Will. Next to me is Will Payton. First time that I've had him on the show in year 2, and welcome to the show, Will.
Yes, sir. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Will's one of our starting defensive linemen, a senior, has been on the starting team for the last 2 seasons.
Yes, sir, and then freshman year.
In freshman year, so he's been a part of this Navarre Raider program for 4 years now. And how do you like switching over to the 4-2 defense?
It was definitely something that I like to see for sure. Just kind of knowing how the teams run around here, and how many of them like to have run offenses. Definitely like to see switching to the 4. Makes it obviously easier to have stops on the line. And personally, I know that we have a lot of good personnel in our position grouping, and it's good to see more of our guys getting put out there and just see how we can put as much effort into the big line stands and putting pressure on the QB as possible.
Eight returning starters on defense, only 1 on offense. It's been a little bit of a struggle on the offensive line, but how has it been in the locker room through these first couple of weeks?
I mean, honestly, you can tell some guys they'll get a little discouraged from time to time just without how things are going and how much time it takes for them to get to feel good with their new offense. But we're doing a pretty good job at staying excited. It's still the beginning of the season. We know what we had to work on. We have new guys, and it's just kind of the thing you go through every year with old guys coming out, going out, new guys coming in. You teach them up, you give them encouragement, and it's good.
Coach Bagley has been a part of this program since 2006. So this is his 19th year in the Raider program. First, as a head coach, how has it been with Coach Bagley at the helm now?
It's great. He's taken the reins of the team very well. You can tell he's been working hard to kind of get used to the new position and do his best that he can. I feel really confident in what he can do and what he's been doing for the team so far. I'm excited for the next season with him.
A lot of people know the history of Coach Bagley. 7-time state champion, 6 girls state titles, 1 boys state titles. The guy can flat out coach.
Yes, sir, for sure.
You got the bye week. A lot of guys banged up. Probably couldn't have come at a better time having the bye week now.
Yes, sir, and definitely since the beginning of the season, having this early bye week gives us more time to, like you were saying, work on our offense, even work on our defense a little bit. Just have more time to get ready for the upcoming season and really become sound and just get closer as a team too. Feel more confident in what we can do.
The Friday meal consists of, folks, this is right, Salisbury steak. Coach Wall started that tradition.
Yes, sir.
Coach Bagley has continued with that tradition. In your honest opinion, what's it taste like?
Well, most of the time before games, it's not as much about taste as it is sustenance and getting something in. Before you obviously go to war against other guys. I mean, it's food.
It fills the void, right?
It fills the void. It fills you up, and you're ready to play afterwards.
Okay, our next game up is going to be a week from tomorrow. We take the longest road trip of the 24 season over to Panama City, where we played one of the most exciting games a couple of years ago, a 38-35 victory, come from behind victory for the Raiders.
Yes, sir.
Against a very talented Mosley team. They got a lot of players back this year. Always a tough place and a tough opponent in the Mosley Dolphins.
Yes, sir.
And then after that, well, I know Coach Bagley likes to take it one game at a time. I'm looking forward to that first district game in 2 weeks against Milton.
Yes, sir.
They come to our place once again. They've only beat us once in the last 14 years. But we're going to look at we're not even going to talk about that game tonight.
Yes, sir.
But coming into this season, this 24th, your senior season.
Yes, sir.
What are your – I'm not going to ask you about your expectation and goals for this year, but once your football playing is done at Navarre High, what are you looking at for your future?
Well, I've always been more of a, going towards academics, towards college, especially just because at my size for D lineman and, especially in the Southeast, is those guys are, 6'5".
Unless you want to put on about another 50 pounds.
Yeah, yes, sir, about another 50 pounds to try and stretch a couple inches out. But, obviously if I can do, the best that I can and somebody just, I can reach out or somebody comes to, reaches out to me, which isn't likely, but, and there's a good opportunity, then, you take what you can, what's good.
What are you looking at studying once you head off to college?
Aeronautical engineering.
Okay. I'm not sitting next to a dummy here because I know how hard that is. My son tried going civil engineering, but that was when West Florida was just starting a football program, and their coach didn't reach out to him, so he had to recruit a school on his own.
Yes, sir.
So he went on and played 4 years of Division II football, and I got to go watch every one of his games after broadcasting on Friday nights. So a lot of long road trips, but it sounds like you got a good head on your shoulder. And I want to wish all you guys, as the season goes on, much success. I'm always going to be one of your biggest fans, and I know your mom and dads are sitting at home and they're proud of what you guys are doing, and just stick with it. It's early on in the season, and I see big things coming up in the future here in 24.
Yes, sir. I'm excited.
Will Payton, starting
Thanks,
defensive lineman of our Raiders. Thanks, Will.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Give your all self-applause. Great job, guys. Great night, Paul.
They did great. So we had the starting defensive line for the Navarre Raider football team. All four of them, from what I could tell, did a great job.
You got 3 seniors and a sophomore.
Yeah, Bryce was impressive.
Now, I'm so glad they went to the 4-2 defense. That 3-4 the last couple of games last year between Niceville and Bartram Trail was 2 very talented rushing teams, and they exposed us quite often. And when you're going that 3-4, you got 4 healthy linebackers out on the field every week. It kind of takes a toll on your linebackers.
It does, and the Niceville game, was a unique situation because half of our lineup was sick, and what's his name? Andre Spence had suffered a concussion the week before against Gulf Breeze, so we had a sophomore filling in for him. We had Rowan Strom, who's come on really strong this year, but last year was his first time in a starting role. And as you said, Niceville, with this score 60 points.
63 points on us, then 67 to Bartram Trail
the next week.
Hey, but we did our best. We tried to go toe-to-toe with Bartram Trail. We put up 55 ourselves, and it took 2 record performances by Hunter Feaster. 500 yards in a game, and Terrence Marshall, 286 yards, which is also a Navarre record. They set a couple other futility records in that game, but we won't talk about those. But I'm so happy that they went to the 4-2.
Absolutely. And I know that the players are too. Just talking to Bryce Wheeler, he's like, hey, it's just made everybody solidify, and it just opened up opportunities for the linebackers, and it just stops the run. He mentioned they have to get a little bit better in coverage on screens, but it's coming, and every week's getting better. So.
What a lot of people don't realize, Navarre's schedule is one of the toughest in the Panhandle. You look at their schedule from week to week. You start out with Catholic, one of the best teams in smaller classifications. Choctaw, ranked in the top 25 in the state now. Mm-hmm. Mosley putting up 50-plus points a game. Milton's down a little bit this year, but then you come to Tate. Tate is one of those teams that's really taken off this season.
Same team back from last year.
You got Escambia, always a tough, especially playing them over there. You got Crestview this year is 2-0 start for them. Mm-hmm. They go and face Choctaw this week.
And then
you got Pace. Pace. they want us bad.
They do.
We've beaten them 14 straight times. In fact, they never beat us when Coach Walls was the head coach.
Well, they look at last year's game as the reason that they didn't go to the playoffs. They were 8-2, and you can make an argument that they should have gone, but you got to win the district. And we beat them 25-24. They missed 4 extra points, so they've got a chip on their shoulder.
Well, most definitely, and they have the talent. They have a very talented team. Then we finish up with Niceville, which is kind of an early juggernaut this year in the Panhandle.
And they've got a big test this week with Pine Forest, right?
And the starting quarterback is going to be the Pace transfer. Nick Simmons is going to get his first start at QB.
Interesting.
For Pine Forest, and he'll be going up against a very talented Niceville team.
Where is that game?
It's at Niceville.
It's at Niceville. Okay.
You know, 70% of their games are usually at home, but.
And 70% of their fans.
And that's not a lie, and that's not a dig. Hey, if I can get teams to come play me at home and not have to travel, I'd do it too.
Yep, and 70% of their fans sit on the visitor side too. It's an interesting place to play a football game.
Well, I want to thank the staff here at Buffalo Wild Wings. The 2 years that we've been doing this now, they take care of us, and I'm sure they appreciate our young men and come in and eating, especially when you got defensive and offensive linemen coming in. But Braden Hiltz has done a great job here at Buffalo Wild Wings in the 2 years that they've been open now, and this is our second year here, and look for many more years to come.
Absolutely.
We're going to finish off this show. We hope that you've enjoyed all of the interviews tonight. I love my interview with Coach Bagley. Couldn't have picked a finer man for the job at Navarre. His heart and soul is in this program for the last 19 years, and just patience. That's all I can ask for.
Yep.
Now we're going to finish up our show with our college picks. I actually won the college picks last week. 22
first time ever? I'm kidding.
It's been a while. It has been a while. Actually, I won it last year, but overall, 22-3. Bob 21-4. Joe and Paul at 20-5. Still not bad. That's 80%. Well, now we're going into week 2. The games are going to start to get a little tougher, but there's still a lot of cupcakes going on early in the season and our predictions. Congrats to Pick Wizard once again last week. 29-5 high school. That's incredible.
That's what Joe had last week.
That's what he's had, 29-5. But here's our college picks. We're going to start with 2 Friday night games. BYU at Southern Methodist. We're all going with the Mustangs at home. Next, we got Duke heading to Northwestern, a battle of the Brain Bowl. Half of us are going with Duke. Joe and I are going with Duke on the road. Northwestern is playing in their facility that they have built up, and it's right on Lake Michigan. It is beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
In fact, but it doesn't hold a whole lot of people. But they're renovating their stadium, and it's going to be a beautiful new stadium once they start playing football. I don't know if it's in 25. I think it's in maybe 26. But they got a great practice facility there. It should be a great game. Bob and Paul going with Northwestern.
Yep.
Joe and I going with Duke. Here's another split matchup here. Texas at Michigan. This, I think, is Michigan lost a lot of players last year from their national title team. They're hosting a very, very strong Texas team.
I took them just because it's at home. It's a tough place to win.
The big house.
The big house. Tough place for a road team. That's
Most definitely. You're the only one taking Michigan. So if Michigan wins, you get a heads up on the rest of us, because most of our picks are pretty much chalk after this. In fact, as I'm looking through here, the rest of our picks are chalk.
We all have the same.
So we're all taking Penn State over Bowling Green, Georgia Tech over Syracuse, Oklahoma State at home against Arkansas, Kansas State against Tulane, South Carolina at Kentucky, Temple at Navy.
And you're saying, so Navy, we took Navy.
We all took Navy in that one. If you watch that game, you'll get to see Navarre's own Dante Wright. Had 3 catches last week in the game at Oklahoma. We got Northern Illinois going to South Bend and playing in front of Touchdown Jesus. We all took the Irish there. What a great game that was Saturday night. Yep. Great defensive battle. California, the new ACC team. Is that even possible?
The Atlantic Coast Conference having a California team. How does that work?
And they're going to Auburn for a tough matchup. We're all going with the Tigers there. Baylor at Utah. Utah, the pride and joy of the Big 12 now. There's only a Pac-2 left out there. Virginia at Wake Forest. We're all going with Wake Me Up Forest. Baylor at Utah, we're all going with the Utes at home. South Florida at Alabama. I don't think we need to talk about that one.
Roll Tide. I know you love to hear that. That's for you.
I don't mind other people saying it. I just won't say it. Tennessee going to North Carolina State. NC State was supposed to be much improved, but I think Tennessee is a little bit more improved than NC State. We're all going with the Vols on the road. Kansas at Illinois. Kansas playing really good football these last couple years. Lance Leopold, the head coach here at Kansas, doing a great job. Western Michigan and Terrence Marshall going to Ohio State, the Horseshoe. So week 1 he goes to Camp Randall, Wisconsin. The next week he goes to the Horseshoe in Columbus. What a way to start your college career. Hopefully he'll be able to get on the field this weekend. Buffalo at Missouri. We're all going with Mizzou there. Colorado at Nebraska, the battle of the old Big 8, that conference. We're all going with Missouri. I don't think Buffalo has enough.
Yeah, it was a 33-point favorite, I think.
Yeah. Colorado, you're going to lose this one. Houston at Oklahoma.
Who did I take in the Colorado game? I took.
We all took Nebraska in that one.
Okay.
Houston at Oklahoma. Houston was a big loser to UNLV last week, so I think they have no chance at Oklahoma. I think
took Oklahoma.
What's the spread's probably about 45
45.
or 50.
I think it was 45.
Okay, we're all going with Oklahoma there. App State at Clemson. Let's see if Clemson can find their offense this week.
After Georgia.
It was actually, I saw it on a missing sign down the Highway 98 here, the missing offense. If you've seen the Clemson offense, please send them home. We're all going with Clemson in that one. Texas Tech at Washington State. Heading out to Pullman, Washington. We're all going with the Cougs there. Boise State at Oregon. If Oregon plays like they did last week, Boise State may give them a run for their money. But we're all going with the Ducks, quack, quack. Mississippi State at Arizona State.
Arizona State.
And then Utah State, I think they're the Aggies, are going to USC to play the Trojans. What a big win for the Trojans last weekend on Sunday night against LSU. So what do you think of the night, Bob? I mean, Bob.
Bob, I don't know. Bob's not here.
Hi, Bob. Paul.
Wow, after 2 hours, I'm Bob. That was a great night.
We're both kind of bobbing.
Yeah, my eyes are barely open. No, it was a great night. I loved, great defensive line. Another shout out to Coach Chris Benjamin, who is really, it's a testament when all four of them sit here and say how great it is to learn from him, not only technique on the D line, but life lessons. And I think that's Coach Bagley and Coach Benjamin. But that was a great night. They did a great job, and their teammates came out to support them too. You had a couple of teammates that came out to support them as well, and I think great thing. I told Bryce Wheeler, I said, you're the leader next year. When these guys all graduate, and your team's going to get better and better. And this year will be a struggle, but get better every week.
We'll have a second year back as starter for Roman Marshall, so he'll be after it playing here in 2024. And that's a good week for the Raiders to get healthy.
Yep.
Their open week normally. As I talked with Coach Bagley, normally you don't taking that open week early on.
No.
Because then you got a stretch of 8 straight weeks of games. But I think it couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons. And I jokingly say, hey, Coach Walls knew what he was doing when he left, and he gave us the schedule of Catholic and Choctaw, and then Mosley, and but they'll get the open week, reassess, and then go from there.
Yeah, because it all comes down to district play, and hopefully we'll have a healthy Raider team once we get into week 5.
The toughest game is going to be the Tate game. Tate on the road at Tate. That's going to be a tough one.
Very talented offensive team out there with Tate Davis at quarterback and Christian Neptune. One of the best wide receivers.
Tyler Fulmer, I think is his name. He's a O lineman. He's bigger than Grant Wise, and he's huge, and he's
And they always seem to have a player in their name where I can't pronounce their last name. They got a running back by the name, I think it's
Zachary.
Zakaria. Zakari.
There's no A at the end.
I know. So it's just like I went the whole game last year trying to figure out how to pronounce it. I got so many. I don't know how many different ways that I mispronounced that young man's name.
I'll leave you with a funny, and then we can end the show. But when I was at the NYSA announcing there for years, there was a kid from Perdido, and for the first half of the game, I called him Malachi. Malachi on the run. Malachi carry. And his parents came over at halftime and said his name is Malachi.
Malachi.
True story.
You know what? I learned early on when I was doing Dixie Youth baseball and softball games, and I was some of the names that would come in there, and I'd be like, how do you pronounce that? One thing I learned is get the lineup early. But a lot of times when you're doing those tournaments, you're getting 4 or 5 games a day, and it's like you have no time to learn the names.
True.
But I look for big things in district play for the Raiders. And, folks, all I ask, be patient. It's a work in progress. And
be patient and remember that these are 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, and they're out there giving their 100% effort all the time. The coaches are working hard for them. So, I get frustrated with all the noise on Facebook after they lose. But these are kids at the end of the day, and they're doing the best they can, and they're improving, and they will get better. So.
And they're the one actually putting in all the hard work, and they're feeling it themselves. But they're going to continue to work hard because that's what young men do.
And that's what Braxton Barr said to me. He said, Coach Bagley tells them all the time, unless the people are out there with you practicing every day and they don't know what's going on. So, block out the noise and get better every week, and that's all you can do.
Well, Paul, I want to thank you for coming and filling in for Seminole Bob. He's out somewhere in, I don't know, Walton County or
negotiating teacher contracts.
Yeah,
so.
Bob, a middle school teacher out at Walton Middle School. Him and his wife, Kirsten, out there. They make that drive every day, which I don't envy at all, going through Destin every day there and back. But thanks again, Paul, for doing the show tonight, filling in for Bob. We'll be back on Tuesday night. Remember, no game this week. So get out, and if you want to watch some high school football, there's some great games going on this week. And get out there and cheer on our guys here in the Panhandle. They're repping the 850. And we appreciate you, our fan base, and remember, in the end, it's always greater to be a Raider.
That's it.
From Buffalo Wild Wings, it's Irish Bill with New England Paul, Tom Brady, a.k.a. Mr. Clean. Thanks, Paul, once again. You've been watching the Buffalo Wild Wings Coaches Show from Buffalo Wild Wings in Navarre. Have a great night, folks. And that's Irish Bill signing off.